F1 Las Vegas is just a few weeks away, and we are smack dab in the middle of the heavy construction. Today we're going to give you an update on the construction on the F1 track, but we're also going to be keeping F1 honest. So they made promises that they were going to make things better for locals, for tourists, and for businesses this year. So we're going to see if they're holding up their end of the deal. We're in front of Bellagio, where they're currently working on the Fountain Club luxury suites. Now, since they started working on those suites, they've closed 2 lanes of Las Vegas Boulevard, but there still are several lanes available for traffic. They've also closed the sidewalk for pedestrians, and they have removed the infamous trees. If you remember last year, they cut down the trees, and that pissed off a lot of people, but they replaced them with potted trees. So now this year, they just have to take out the pots, they took them out, and they will put them back into place when construction is over and everything gets back to normal. Now, they have made a couple of changes this year. The first one is that they didn't put in the grandstands. So if you remember last year, on either side of the Fountain Club luxury suites, they had big grandstands. They decided not to put that in this year, and that frees up both of the corners so that you can actually view the Bellagio fountains from the corners. So this is one of the biggest attractions in Las Vegas, and last year you really had a hard time getting a viewing point of the Bellagio fountain. So having this corner available on either side is really great. But they've also opened up the sidewalk that goes in back of the fountains, and so you have the viewing point back there. Last year you had to walk around through the lobby and then down. Part of the sidewalk was open for viewing, but it really made it difficult for people to get over there to see the fountains. So now you can walk right up, watch the fountain show, and you can head into the lobby from that point as well. Now, you are not going to have that iconic view dead center right in front of the Bellagio seeing those fountains. If you're driving down Las Vegas Boulevard, you're really not going to be able to see the fountain show as well. And I wouldn't try to go to Mon Amiga B or Beer Park, Alexa's to try to get a view of the fountain show because it's really obstructed by the Fountain Club here. They have already completed the bridge over Koval, so this allows the vehicles to travel over Koval when the race is going on. But this is last year's video. You notice the traffic going both directions, basically 2 bridges. And this year they did things a little bit differently. They only have 1 bridge, so the other side is open. And that was done because it takes a long time for them to install and uninstall the bridges, but also it provides for better access to the businesses on the side roads. So now this year it's just 1 2-lane bridge that goes on Flamingo over Koval. So last year when you were traveling on Flamingo, if you wanted to get to Koval and you didn't want to go over the bridge, you'd have to go down this little side road, and it wasn't very obvious, and sometimes you just get stuck going over the bridge and you'd bypass it altogether. And the businesses in these areas really complained. They kind of suffered from that. But this year, only having the 1 bridge, it makes the traffic a little bit different, and it's much easier to get to Koval and get to some of those businesses along that street. You'll see signs around reminding people that the businesses on Koval are open, that the Harmon's Corner Mall is open. They do have signage around so that you know that you can still patronize those businesses. Last year, Ellis Island had grandstands out front, but this year they're not doing that. They were part of the lawsuit that was filed earlier this year because of the money they lost due to F1. But they're also under construction. They're adding some more casino space, so they have a lot going on as it is without F1 disruption. But you can kind of see here, they are blocked in by these barriers. Right now, cars can get in and out of the driveway. There are some openings in the barriers, but when that track is hot, it's going to be impossible because cars are not going to be allowed onto Koval. This souvenir shop up ahead had complained last year and were also part of the lawsuit because they were blocked off. But this year they do have the opening there, and there is a sign telling you that the souvenir shop and the Arco AM/PM is open, and that's how you get in. As you can see, a lot of the work here has been completed. You see the lighting tracks, you see the barriers and the fencing all up. They really have done a lot of work to prepare the track on the side streets. Batista's hole-in-the-wall Italian restaurant and stage door, casino, and bar are not part of the F1 track, and they don't have any barriers up to block entrance. But when it's race time, they will be impacted just like many of the other businesses in this area. Well, this is turning from Las Vegas Boulevard down Harmon, and you'll really see all of the construction work that is being done. The lighting track is up, the barriers are up, the fencing is up. It is looking like it's ready to go. Of course, you're going to be adding some special touches to it to really advertise and make it feel like you are at the F1 race. As you continue down Harmon, you'll start to see some of the luxury suites that are going up. Some of these are just privately built and going to be for really high-paying customers, high rollers. And we're just about to go over another bridge. Now this one is the Audrey Street Bridge and takes you over Harmon on Audrey Street. Much less impactful than the Flamingo one because it's not as traveled. And now coming up are the grandstands. These are the Harmon grandstands. And this will be a very popular spot because essentially this is the home stretch. The cars will be flying through here and you can see the paddock coming up there on the left. The construction work will only take 3 months this year versus the 9 months it took last year. And that's mainly because the F1 track does not need to be repaved again this year. That took 6 months last year, and it won't need to be repaved or major work done to it for about another 6 years. If you are going to see a show at the Sphere, just know that they are setting up those grandstands here as well. I don't think it'll really affect your experience at the Sphere, but just know that they are going in already. We drove along the F1 track, and I'd say on Las Vegas Boulevard, the one thing that is most noticeable is the track lighting is up. So you'll see that in place, but you don't have any of the barriers on the road set up on Las Vegas Boulevard. They're really leaving that road for last. Another difference from last year's race is that there are no grandstands in front of the Mirage, mainly because the Mirage is now closed. Hard Rock has taken over the property. They've already demolished the volcano. They're starting to work on the construction of their new guitar-shaped tower. And so this place is going to be under construction for the next couple of years, so there's not going to be any grandstands. Last year, the Venetian drained the water outside where the gondolas go, and they put up a platform and created this viewing deck for their guests. Now, they are going to do that again this year, but last time they only did it a couple of weeks in advance. It didn't take them that long to get it all set up, and there really is no disruption. The sidewalks are open, everything is open. The only thing is that the gondola rides are closed down because there's no water in there. There hasn't been any work done to the pedestrian bridges as of yet, but starting on November 4th, they're going to be working on them overnight. So they're going to close 2 bridges at a time. They'll be closed from 12 a.m. to 9 a.m. and the work will take place from November 4th up until November the 14th. Now, if you remember from last year, they're going to be putting wire on the sides of the bridge and over the top. So that way, if debris comes in, they won't hit pedestrians. But also they'll be putting film up over the top so that you can't see out onto the racetrack. What do you think of F1 being in Las Vegas? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think that F1 has done any better this year with the construction? Let us know in the comments what you think. And also, we are going to be back with another update, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, be sure to watch this video where we attended the qualifier in last year's F1 race. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.